Hello, my fellow critters and creatures. Have you ever wondered what makes humans unique in the animal kingdom? Some people might say it's the creation of agriculture. But what if I told you that many other animals also do this? Let's explore. The first animal we're discussing are ants. Ants farm aphids like humans farm cows. Any gardener can tell you that aphids are a nuisance. They live on plants and drink their sap. Large quantities of aphids will take over a garden, feeding on the super sugary sap of the plants. And because of how highly concentrated the sugar is of these plants, when it comes time for them to excrete their waste, that waste is still chock full of nutrients. We call this excrement honeydew because it looks like little dewdrops and is very sugary. One animal that really likes to eat this honeydew are ants. These ants will herd these aphids into one specific section of the plants that they can easily get to. And they do a lot of maintenance for the herd. They'll remove the sick or dead aphids, they'll clean up the area so the honeydew doesn't produce mold, and they'll move the herd of aphids to different sections of the plant when they're overgrazing. Ants have even trained aphids to only release the honeydew when their abdomens are palpated. Ants are also known to farm fungi, but I think we should give another animal a spotlight. Next up is the ambrosia beetle. Ambrosia beetles farm fungi. They take the spores from the fungi and lead them to a new tree they want to colonize. They bore out holes in the already sick trees and implant the spores into the walls so that the whole family of ambrosia beetles have a consistent food supply. Unfortunately, this leads to the destruction of the trees in many cases, because the fungi will leave openings for other harmful bacteria and fungi to infect the trees, as well as removing nutrients before it can reach the parts of the tree that need it. Now it's time to venture into the ocean and see two more types of farms. When you imagine what animals in the ocean might participate in agriculture, what do you think about? You might look at the intelligent cephalopods, like octopods, squid, and cuttlefish. Or you might look at the underwater mammals, like dolphins or seals. But actually, one of the most impressive feats of agriculture falls to the damselfish. Damselfish need to eat a lot of algae, and they've developed a method to farm it among the beds of coral reefs. They pluck out unwanted plants and allow their preferred species of algae to grow. They also aggressively defend their farms from predators, such as urchins and other fish that might eat their gardens. They're even known to attack the occasional diver if they get too close, and they take their farming a step further by employing the use of shrimp. They create a safe habitat for these tiny mysid shrimp, which in turn provides fertilizer that improves the algae's growth. And last, but certainly not least, let's talk about the yeti crabs. These deep-sea marvels live near hydrothermic vents, which produce a lot of chemicals that the bacteria that live down there eat. This is a process called chemiosynthesis, which is kind of like photosynthesis, but instead of getting energy from photo, light, they get their energy from chemio, or chemicals. The yeti crab's only food source is this type of bacteria, and scientists used to think that they just waved their arms above the thermal vents to collect the bacteria, but it turns out that they actually farm the bacteria in their fur. The yeti crabs do a lot to cultivate this bacterial growth. They do things like put their arms above the hydrothermic vents to allow more chemicals to get into the bacteria. They also wave their arms back and forth to add more circulation to the system and promote digestion. And when they have a large enough supply in their arms, they use their comb-like mouthparts to get enough of the bacteria off of them to eat, without decimating the entire population. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this content, please like and subscribe.